so many people that are able to make these changes. So this is awesome, and it's a huge deal for me, so thank you everyone for listening. My name is Sensei Lane, but I go by Sunny. I'm a Lummi tribal member. I have 2 daughters, ages 15. Leah is 15 and Aria is 5. We live in the Rainier Beach area, the south end of Seattle. We have some vital needs in our state. Lack of childcare spots, low pay for childcare workers, and a system that makes it harder for moms like me to utilize the resources my family counts on to live. I'm the 4th generation of boarding school involvement in my family. I grew up in foster care and have struggled to find stability my whole life. I was in a lot of foster homes. That's why it's so important for me to make it happen for my daughters. My youngest, Aria, was enrolled in We Are the World Right Start, which is also a Black-owned daycare, and they helped us tremendously. She got to enroll early into ECAP, and they helped our family with all kind of different wraparound services. They worked with us as parents, and often checked in with us about our mental health, finances, and how to help us help ourselves out the hole we were born in. I'm an outreach care coordinator for REACH. It's a harm reduction outreach. I work with the homeless population. I feel connected with my community because I live there, I work there, and my daughter goes to school there. You may be familiar with the lower level of poverty in my neighborhood. Homelessness may be familiar with the level of poverty. I lost my spot. Homelessness and lack of resources in our neighborhood. I'm grateful I have found a high quality program that meets all of her needs in one location for so many years. All of these pieces in our life are important to stability I've always wanted, but that change came about 6 weeks ago when my baby girl went to transition to kindergarten. On Friday, 6 weeks ago, I found out I wouldn't have childcare on Monday because lack of spots. I was approved for DSHS, but the after-school program at her school didn't have any spots. Kindergarten won't start for 10 days, but our time at ECAP was over. She aged out. So I spent the weekend rearranging my schedule so that on Monday my daughter would be in tow. We went to hunt for a new childcare provider. On Tuesday we kept looking. Wednesday we kept looking. On Thursday I contacted a program offered at her school. It had 20 spots that were all taken. 20 spots for an entire school in such a low-income neighborhood is unacceptable and ridiculous. I put her name on the waiting list and went back to the drawing board. I have an excellent co-parenting relationship with her dad. We split the time, alternate weeks, so with that in mind, my employer allowed me to shift my schedule so that on my weeks I would cut my hours short to be able to pick her up on time from school, and that the other weeks that she was with her dad, I would work double time to make up the hours I missed. I want to add that I work with the homeless population of the Rainier Beach area, and my job isn't something that just turns off when I punch the clock. And since I work and live in the neighborhood that I work in, I often see my clients off the clock, and I can't walk past them and say no. I'm grateful that I have the luxury of shifting my schedule, but working up to 60 hours in a week with people that need more help than I can give them is exhausting. This was not a long-term solution, but knowing stability for my daughter was the only thing that mattered. I made it happen. I kept looking for childcare spots, and I kept hounding the lady about the waiting list. Every single day I kept coming back and asking her, do you have a spot yet? Do you have a spot yet? And she always told me no. I spent a lot of time thinking about other members of my community, about the families that do not have the privilege or luxury of shifting their schedules to fit their needs. Because for so many families in my neighborhood, privilege and luxury don't exist too often. And the places they work don't really care about their personal needs. I also spoke with my parent ambassador coordinator because I wanted to learn more and understand how to make changes. One thing I learned this year is how little we pay our child care providers. Wonderful people that help shape our kids and have such a huge impact on their brain development. They make $20 or less. I don't know the exact number, but when I talked to my child care providers at the daycare, she said they didn't even make $20 an hour. This is absolutely not acceptable. This is not a living wage, especially for the city of Seattle. I make $29 an hour to work with homeless people, and a lot of them are drug addicts. I'm absolutely grateful for my wage, but I'm very frustrated and confused. Why do we value our childcare workers so little? They have such an extraordinary impact on our children and who they become and us as families, so we can get to work and provide a better life. During this time, I've also had to manage the systemic racism in the agencies that are